Okay, so today's video is going to be on oil/grease, and specifically as it pertains to my lock and load. So I load in the garage, obviously, as you can tell. There's my garage door, and it's winter. And when I do this grease gun on the Zerk points, on the Zerk mount points, it's good. You can see I got a little grease dab there, and it's good for about that session, and then things get kind of tight, or a little grippy, as I like to call it. So I was doing some reading online, and a lot of folks use different things. I've done different oils. I've done CLP. I've done Hornady's One Shot, the dry lube stuff, and that, again, that works for the session. So I thought I would try something a little bit different, so move maybe away from the harder black grease gun. And I was at my favorite low-end shop over the weekend, Harbor Freight, and I saw this cool little oil can that I couldn't resist, and it was red, so you know, red goes with the bench. So I picked that up, and I picked up a quart of some Mobil 1. Seemed to be a popular choice. Too many weights, and I can't remember what the weight preference was. But I'm going to fill this up here in a second. I'll show it to you, and then I'm going to see how easily this greases my my ram. I did a little bit of cleaning. I mean, you can see it's just it gets caked down there. So trying something different. We'll see how it works. Back in a minute. This was disconnected and separate. There was a cap in here, so I've screwed this in relatively tightly. And I've also, get a paper towel because oil will spill. I've also blown this out with the air gun so that there's no particles, and you can actually see a little bit of oil in there from, I guess, manufacturer. So I'm going to try not to make a mess with my little funnel, and I'm probably not going to fill it up all the way, just enough to get some oil in there, and that's about half full. This will go on the shelf for other. Nice golden oil, a little more than half full. And of course some spillage. So I was thinking about mounting this via a magnet, but was given that second thoughts, just because if the weight of the magnet gives out, I'll have oil leaking everywhere, according to Murphy's Law. When I go Harbor Freight, you sometimes get what you pay for. So it looks like this thing wants to be absolutely super full, and it really doesn't even dispense a whole lot of oil. Which I guess is a good thing. I'd rather have it come out in dribbles than so it's coming out in what I would call barely dribbles. A couple of times I felt there was some air pressure in there, and it actually shot out, as you saw once or twice on film. So this will be a dribble approach. But I will say that the ram feels incredibly smooth, and I probably got oil on just about everything now. But that that is feeling much better than it did earlier today. I'll probably soak up some of my excess. But yeah, it feels pretty good. So, very smooth. I'm not getting any resistance. And I did some reloading the other day, and I could feel the tightness just because of the older oil, the colder weather. It was definitely gripping the ram. So, I call that a win. I would say that this was definitely worth the $2, and that's about the value in terms of performance as well. So, not knocking it, but not anything to write home about. Take care, folks.